Hey, and welcome back to another one of my videos. I thought I would do a video on the Leica 90mm SL f2 Summicron aspherical prime lens. I think that's what they call it, just in maybe perhaps a slightly different order. But I bought this lens last year and it goes alongside the 75, and you'll see immediately that they are both basically the same size, albeit a slightly different focal length. I was in two minds of whether to buy it or not, because obviously it's so close. The 90 to 75 is so close yet so far apart. Obviously with a narrower field of view you're going to get a tighter, more telephoto look to your image. Obviously I think it's going to be a little bit closer, and that out of focus area as well is going to look, because it's tighter, it's going to look sort of creamier, and you're going to have more separation from your background, obviously with the f2 aperture. So both lenses are built extremely well. I think that the 90 is essentially, everything about it's the same apart from the glass inside and obviously the way it's configured, but I think that every component on this is identical, including the kind of the main body of the lens, which is again super well made. It's all made out of aluminium. Really, it's not, I mean it's heavy, but I suppose any lens, any prime lens is going to be heavy, or most camera lenses are heavy really if they're made well. So again, 67mm filter thread on the front. I don't run filters on the front of my lenses. I haven't done for years. I started experiencing years ago that I'd get some kind of ghosting sometimes, and you'd end up, I'd break a lot of filters and they'd get dirty, and I'd find that trying to get a filter that really is on the par with the quality of the glass on the front of the lens was really difficult. The front of most camera lenses really, realistically, they're very durable. They've got multiple coatings on, and yeah, I clean this with a lens cloth all the time, and I'm not rough with it of course, but I put fingerprints and whatnot on it, and it's been absolutely, it's always come up really well. Absolutely no signs of internal dust. I've not experienced that on any of the Leica lenses that I've owned or own. Even back on the M glass, I never experienced any real issues with internal dust, which is absolute testament to the build quality, the sealing, and just the overall engineering that goes into these lenses by Leica. Again, really nice, snappy autofocus, as good as autofocus gets on the Leica SL. The Summicron lenses I've owned the Summilux 50mm, which you can watch a video of, the 2490 as well. These Summicron lenses by far are the best at focusing. But I mean, the SL focusing really isn't that great. There's no two ways about it. But these definitely these are the best combination. I'd love to shoot on the 35 and I'd love to shoot on the 50. I think the whole Summicron range of lenses for the SL are an absolute triumph, but they're expensive. This lens is brand new, £4,000 in the UK. I bought this particular example pre-owned from my local London camera exchange, and even that, it was significantly cheaper, but even that, it was just under £3,000, which is, it's an enormous amount of money. It's obviously very close in focal length to the 75. I do think the 75 is sharper, especially at f2. But I find that both these lenses have their purpose. But I think on the whole, I do prefer the 75mm focal length. I've sometimes found 50 a bit too wide, sometimes getting a little bit of distortion on a 50mm lens, but 75 is like the perfect middle ground. I found this lens most useful for doing anything really. I mean, I think you can photograph any subject in photography with any lens, it's just the way you look at it. But I've been using this quite a lot on a personal project I've been shooting, and obviously if you're watching this video at the present, we're obviously in a global pandemic, and having a lens that allows me as a photographer to step back a little bit further is a must at the moment. It means that I can still get those beautiful pictures, but not be on people's toes. It takes the same metal lens hood as the 75mm lens, and when you get them side by side, you really do start to see how they are so close in size. There. Even though the focal lengths are so close, I do find that I do switch up these lenses when I'm shooting them together. I do find that there are certain pictures which do work better on the 90 rather than the 75. But overall, it's just another triumph of a lens really from Leica. I still do believe the 75 is probably one of the best, or if not the best, camera lens I've ever owned. But these things, you know, they are, yeah, they're built really well. The only slight issue I've found is that they do, this sort of really nice sort of black surface does mark quite easily and is susceptible to just sort of minor dents, which I suppose you could, that is a reason to criticise, you know, to criticise the lens really. I wonder how after a good few years of really banging this lens around, oh my phone's ringing, 1 second. I do find that after a few years of banging these lenses around, I do wonder how well they'll hold up. But on the whole, at the moment, it's going pretty well. The manual focus ring is pretty smooth. It's difficult with the way the manual focus works on the Leica SL because it's like a fly-by-wire. So you're not, for example, if you flipped a Nikon lens on its back, you'd literally, well, perhaps not, I haven't seen a modern Nikon lens, but on the D range, they'd have the little sort of screw bit essentially that helps turn the focusing mechanism, and that disconnects that when you manual focus. But in terms of this, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, the electronic viewfinder is really good on the SL, so that for sort of manual focus acquisition is great. But yeah, on the whole, it's a really lovely lens. I mean, it's beautifully made. Apart from obviously being susceptible perhaps to little dents, but that's not really a big problem for me yet. Anyway, it's just a quick video about the SL, the 90 SL lens. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. It really helps other people see them. It helps me and my channel. And yeah, that's it really. It's a nice lens. If I was to buy one between the 90 and the 75, I'd probably go for the 75, but I'll be driven by price and I'll be definitely looking to try and acquire these pre-owned. I bought the 75 brand new a few years ago actually, and there's been a couple of price rises since, but if you're going to acquire them second-hand, do that. A lot of people who buy Leica equipment aren't professional photographers. A lot of them don't use it very often, and if they do, they don't bash it around. So I'll be looking at MPB, London Camera Exchange, Red Dot cameras in the UK, Manchester Leica shots, like that's the Leica store in Manchester, and you'll be able to pick up a nice example, I think, for a big saving on the new, and you'll be away. If it was me, I'd be going to the 75, but that's down to me personally, and hopefully there'll be a point where you might be able to get into a store and give one a go. But they both weigh the same. They take the same filter thread. They're absolutely identical, just apart from their filter thread. Sorry, the focal length, not the filter thread. But anyway, thanks so much for watching.